It's a few days before Diwali and the air is kinda clear. But on Diwali, this is what it looks like. But I found out the air pollution in Diwali is not just because of the firecrackers, but something else entirely. And I have an experiment to actually show how all of this works. But before we do that, I'm going to use this, an AQI monitor to measure the pollution and the air quality from my home all the way to the office and figure out how is all this happening, where's this pollution coming from, and I need you to count with me everything you found surprising throughout and put it in the comments. Let's start with this, the AQI or the Air Quality Index. It basically measures a particle, PM 2.5, telling you how clear or polluted the air is.
So PM 2.5 is basically the size of the particle. 2.5 is 2.5 micrometers. And when you breathe the air, these particles go into your body. They can cause prothrombotic states that can make your blood thick. It can increase your risk of heart attacks, strokes, lung problems, a whole host of problems, including even cancer.
Now, even though we can't see these particles, it actually reduces life expectancy by 10 years and puts us on the wrong side of the map. This shows the number of deaths in every country, and India and China and a bunch of smaller nations are the worst hit. But you know what's interesting is there is no indoor air quality standard. The air purifiers here do give you a measure, but we don't have standards in India yet. When you burn a mosquito coil, it's equivalent to something like 75 to 137 cigarettes. And all these other activities also create pollutants at home. It means frequent changes to your AC filter. You have to buy new air purifiers. This costs at least 10,000 rupees. Now, home pollution is more of a choice. I can do a bunch of things and make sure the home is actually clean air to breathe. But the moment I exit, the moment I go out, everything changes, right? So let me get ready for work. You know, when people leave indoors, they think everything is not in their control. Economists call this externalities, and that's where the real culprit hides. So vehicular emission is about 25 to 35% in the country. Delhi is about 40%, Mumbai is about 30%, Bangalore is also really high, which means most of the air pollution is happening because of vehicles. If all of the vehicle pollution is roughly the same in all the cities, why does Delhi have so much pollution and why does Diwali look like that? Let's look at the population. Delhi's population is about 34 million in 2025, and by 2030, it'll be 44 million. Now, when the population goes up so much, of course, the vehicles, I think, will double, maybe even triple. And abhi itna jam ho raha hai, tab kya hoga? Capitalism is a little weird. We move to cities, then we work over there to get a better life, only to be stuck in traffic for hours. And you know what? Cars that aren't even moving, like us right now, stuck in traffic, create even more pollution because the engines are running, there's no momentum, and it just causes more pollution.
Then there are all these different gases which are released: sulfur oxide, nitrous oxide, formaldehyde, which are also byproducts of combustion. And these gases are also toxic to the body, increasing the risk of a whole host of problems: lung problems, heart problems, cancer.
The point is this: the small things that happen in our lives. Thoda sa we got late to office, we got stuck in traffic for an hour, etc., etc. On a population level, on a state level, on a country level, just multiplies and becomes billions of dollars lost. And it's not like the government doesn't know about this. They've actually actively tried to solve it. Like CNG, they've tried to ban vehicles over 10 years old off cars inside certain areas. So developed nations have a different solution altogether. In a place like Singapore, they have the ERP system, where as soon as you cross an ERP, it automatically deducts money from the wallet that you have. The next biggest pollutant is construction and demolition. This is not that surprising if you see all of this. By the way, the current AQI inside this car is 25. It's not bad, but if I open this and checked out here, it's a crazy 85. And this is not because of vehicle emission, because I don't see any cars over here. I only see construction. And construction and demolition accounts for 40 to 50% of all air pollution. On this stretch of road, there are a bunch of construction sites. And every construction site has these massive trucks. And all of this contributes to air pollution. I also don't understand road के ऊपर इतना रेत क्यों होता है in every single construction site across the country. I don't know why. But there's one good thing. In just a few days, all these construction sites will be stopped and will come to a halt because in Delhi, it's not allowed to run construction during the winter months. This forms under the GRAP norms, which is a way for C&D to actually reduce contribution to pollution. And I guess that's a good thing. I hope people actually follow it though. But even with construction, we are not completing the full picture of why the Diwali air looks so bad.
There is poor quality during the entire year as well. The reason why we talk about this during Diwali is because that is when there is that parali burning and the crackers happening and the pollutant level suddenly increases multifold.
So, let's talk about stubble burning, which is when farmers burn their crops after harvesting, say, wheat or rice. Now, this is a simple way for farmers and a cheap and free way for them to get rid of the leftover stuff after the harvest. Another way is to actually get a machine which will clean it up. But the machine is expensive and burning is free. However, because of stubble burning, the actual contribution to air pollution is only 8 to 9%. This entire event happens around just a few days. So basically, although it's 8 to 10%, it's concentrated over just a few days. And we have another source that says during a period of time when the air pollution was at over 150, the contribution from this was less than 1% from the actual fires, which means it can't just be the fires, right? In a world where stubble burning completely goes away, there will still be toxic air in Delhi. So if it's not stubble, it must be firecrackers. Every news channel is basically saying firecrackers and stubble burning. This is the cause for the air pollution. Now, I'm not saying this does not cause air pollution. It does. But take a look at this. This chart shows the air pollution over the last few days. So it's at this average, and then boom, you get this spike on Diwali because of the firecrackers. So there is a connection. But if you look at the next day, it goes back to normal levels. So if it's not the stubble burning, not the firecrackers, not the construction, not everything we discussed, including the cars, then what is that one thing jiske wajah se the air becomes so terrible in Delhi? Let me show you. Come here. The 01 team made this just for you to explain just this concept. So over here you can see this is Delhi. Cold air flows down from the Himalayas and cools the city's already cold surface. And above it sits a layer of warm air. They form kind of like an atmosphere sandwich, like a blanket. And guess what gets trapped in between? Pollution. And I have this machine over here which can generate some. And imagine this is happening in the winter. So all the vehicular dust, all the construction, all the demolition, parali jal rahi hai, everything comes over here, and because the air is cold and there's a blanket on top of it, that smog does not go away. This is called a temperature inversion, which is why in Diwali you see that suddenly it's become so bad. Now air should actually come and ventilate the entire city, but it doesn't because of Delhi's geography. If you notice, we have the Himalayas here and there is wind coming from this side. It's almost like a natural wall preventing ventilation from happening. But imagine if the same thing happened on this coast or this coast, let's say Chennai, and you have the same vehicular emissions, you have C&D, and this is really bad. All you really need is a sea breeze, and the ventilation does this. And because of the ventilation, because it's on the coast, Although the city is producing a lot of pollution, the air isn't as bad as you see right here. So what does this mean? Does this mean that because of this geographical problem, Delhi is doomed to be just a gas chamber forever? Actually, no. Delhi is very specific and can teach every single city about something really important. That all of this happens because of us. Because we do the construction. Because we move to cities. Because we drive the car. Remember COVID? It was a really tough time, but a little silver lining was the air. The air was amazing, the sky was blue, and there were even cases of animals coming on the street because humans weren't getting out. All the reasons air pollution happens man-made were completely stopped because of the lockdown. That means if we are a little more careful and we think that Delhi is ours or the city is ours, and maybe we take one less trip in the car, maybe do a carpool, maybe try to figure something out with the construction sites, the government can do that. And believe me, if all of us did that, it would actually make a huge difference. If you're going to do something this month to make the air slightly better, let us know in the comments. Goodbye.